Welcome back to Chrono Commentary. This is part 2 of the Suunto core saga. I'm going to show you how to actually get into the back of house and operate all the fancy little things that we talked about last time. So let's get right into it. There's a lot of stuff to cover. Okay, so here's what the backlight feature looks like. As you can see, it's pretty easy to read, and obviously this camera doesn't really do it justice, but there you go. Okay, so here we go. If you remember how to get into the actual menus, hold down this middle main button, that little guy fills up, and I'm just going to kind of walk you through this whole section. So the first part is the memory. Hit that again, it'll open that up. The altimeter barometer, this is your barometric pressure, and you can see this guy lights up and it tells you what the barometric pressure was at then and there as it goes down every half hour. And then this button takes you back. There's your logbook, which I only have 2 logs recorded. It'll hold up to 10, and it automatically deletes any of the last, like the oldest log. So if you have logs that you want to hang on to, or whatever trips that you did and you want to remember what they were, you can lock them. So let's click on this log. Obviously, if you go down, up and down. If you go down, you can lock that log, or you can go up and view it. And that's what it looked like. It was a 2-hour trip. The peak was 5,781 feet. If you push this button again, it'll actually play that log back through to you, and you can kind of speed it up. And it'll actually show you your whole trip. And then you can just go back. Pretty handy, like if you're, I don't know, if you have trips that you go on quite a bit. The record interval, the way that I had it set up was for every 30 seconds, but you can do it for every 1, 5, 10, 30, or 60 seconds. For my purposes, 30 seconds is plenty. And then it gives you how many hours of log you actually have left. Okay, so in time and date, you have your alarm, which basically goes on and off. These toggle those options. This okays it. So 7, 8, 20, and then it just clears out. The countdown, you can set it for whatever you want, and then hit OK, and it'll clear back. And what that looks like, the countdown feature is actually on your main time screen, and you can see right there it's 8 minutes. You remember, you scroll through using these options: dual time, chrono, countdown, and then you just start it up here, and you can see it counting down. It has a little alarm that goes off when it's done. I use mine when I make lasagna. When you hit this, button appears up here, you hold that down, and it'll clear it out. So that's how your countdown works. Whoops. Time is obviously just setting your time. It is currently 6:52 in the PM here in beautiful New Mexico. The dual time, it's same concept. You just set a different time zone or whatever you want. The date, it'll walk you through the year, the month, and then the day. And then that is it for time and date. Sunrise, sunset. This is, again, it's regional. Actually, it's global. So I'm in Mountain Time Zone, and it gives you all the U.S. time zones. And then it gives you a list of cities within that time zone. And I'm closest to Albuquerque, so I'm going to leave it there. The altimeter barometer. Now, this is where you get into the references. It's best to set both of these so you get more accurate readings. The altitude, As long as you get it pretty close, it's usually pretty accurate. I'm actually at about 5,400 feet currently. So you can just set that however works for you. If you hold it, it'll go faster. 54, we'll call it 50. And then the sea level is actually your barometric pressure. So 59.79, 29.82, 29.85, and this is where you can actually set your barometric reading. And if it drops or raises, that's how your storm alarm goes off, things like that. You can usually jump online on like weatherchannel.com or whatever, and it'll give you your current barometric pressure. The profile in this particular area, where we're in altimeter barometer, will let you switch between, and we talked a little bit about this last week, which profile you want. The automatic will, when you're moving, it will automatically read altitude. When you're stationary, for more than I think it's like 5 minutes, it'll switch automatically to barometer, and it'll log both of those. So that's kind of a cool way to go if you're mobile. The barometer, that just obviously just stays directly on your barometric pressure, and the altimeter just logs your altitude. So depending on what you're doing, I mean, all of them are good. If you're doing like hikes or something like that and you want to track your altitude, you might want to just leave it on your altimeter. The depth meter is for diving, which obviously once you go below sea level or however that looks, it works better that way. And then, of course, back to automatic. Let's see. Storm alarm is on or off. Right down there at the bottom, on, off. And that is it in there. Now the compass, I want to talk about a little bit. This gives you the declination. I don't know if you've ever dealt with this, but there's magnetic north, which is kind of like your true, or there's like true north, which you would get like on a topo map or something like that, and then there's magnetic north, which is which varies depending on the region, right? So in my area, we are 10.5 degrees. Actually, I think it's 10.8, but for our intents and purposes, this is close enough. 10.5 degrees east. And I'll show you the map that you can take a look at. If you go to magnetic-declination.com, you can punch in your area, and it will tell you exactly what your declination is, east or west, and you can set that. So if you're going off topographic maps or something like that, it's good to set your declination for whatever it is. And these go by intervals of 5, so I mean, as long as it's pretty close, then you're pretty close. General button tone, on or off. I prefer mine off. The tone guide, so like if you start and stop something, things like that, it'll actually give it to you. It'll give you the tone, but not every time you push a button. The backlight, this is the light button down here. So when you push that one, it lights up. This is also the button they use to lock or unlock your other buttons. You can do light button or any button. I prefer just to keep it on my light button. And then language, English, Dutch, French, Espanol. So that is basically it, essentially. And then to get back out, you just hit the bottom left button and you can back all the way back out. Currently we're on altitude, but it still shows the barometric reading up top. So, and then of course the date or the time, the temperature, which is not 85 degrees in here. To activate your logs, this is where you need to be. So you're in altimeter or barometer mode, and then you just start this up here like you would your chrono, and it'll start or stop a new log for you. So that cleared it, and then this will start a new log. And as you move and things like that, it'll do all the stuff that you need it to do. So as you can see, the countdown has begun, and it'll track me sitting here for the next 10 seconds. and then that stops it, theoretically. Over here. So this one will stop it for you. And that is basically it. Every once in a while, your compass will ask you to calibrate, which means you just have to hold it flat like so, and it'll take just a couple of seconds, and it'll go back to what it needs to go back to. So that is it, guys. I hope you found some of this interesting. For those of you that are not going to buy this type of watch, it probably was not. So sorry. So here's the declination map that I promised you. Sorry it's not more exciting, but that's what it is. All right, gentlemen, so that's it. That is the Suunto Core. If you guys have any questions or comments, or if I got something wrong, just post it, let me know, and we'll be happy to go from there. The next one that I got coming up is the Nuka, which is the Zub Zen. That'll be sometime in the next couple days, maybe next week. Also, don't forget to check out the blog, chrono-commentary.blogspot.com. Sign up on the email list. Follow the blog. I've got some cool new stuff coming up. I've got some giveaways and some prizes and things like that, and some how-to videos that I'm going to be working on as well. So check that out, and until next time, thank you guys.